All right, what's going on, guys? This is Adon here. Got Avery right next to me. This is the Thunderbird podcast for the first time ever in person. That's
In
right.
person.
Me and Avery aren't connecting through Zoom. We're right next to each other in the flesh, in the blood. He's down here
Just
for a
like that.
couple of days. And so, we have a very special episode planned for you. We have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has happened since we recorded our last podcast. Couple of roster updates, couple seating changes that we have. So, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna get right into it. Avery, fire away.
Yep, this is episode 15 of the Thunderbird podcast. Good to finally be in person with the Don. Have to get at least one episode while I'm here, so here we are now. The last this upcoming weekend is the last weekend before before week 1,
before the
baby.
season.
Before
I'm
week
very
1.
excited.
I'm excited. But it's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast, so we're gonna go back to the first thing that happened after episode 14 of the podcast. So that was Tim Tebow getting released by the Jaguars. Were you surprised at all, Don?
I don't think anybody was
No.
surprised. I mean, he literally became a meme because of how bad he was as a
Oh yeah,
blocking tight end. But what I do think he did do is open the door for a lot of people, especially a lot of football players who have been out of the game since like the early or mid 2010s and who now want to come back and try to make a comeback. So I think even though he failed, he opened the door for other players. Now here's the thing: whether I think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I have no idea because I don't think anybody has ever really done that successfully. That unless they went through a position change in college, but you have after changing positions after playing like at least 5 years in the NFL for one position, then coming back in your 30s and try to do it and try to make it. That's hard. I mean, the only reason Tebow got it is because he's a figure of notoriety.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so I think the impact was greater than what he actually did on the football field.
yeah. I mean, and as you said, you're not surprised. I'm not surprised either. It was a pretty big change. It was going from quarterback to tight end. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going from receiver to tight end or strong safety to cornerback. Those can be big differences, but quarterback to tight end, that's huge.
Yeah.
On defense, I feel like the equivalent of that is going from strong safety to defensive lineman. It's
Yeah.
just it's that big of a change, and yeah, I'm not surprised. And the film that we got of him in week 1 of preseason, his blocking attempts, his receiving was bad. Not surprised, but I think you're right about the impact being the more important thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't know if anybody actually will pull a Tim Tebow, try to come back, switch positions, and just because I can't think of any players that would seriously come back right now, except for maybe that's Bryant, but he would come back to the same position, and he was in the league last year.
Yeah, and also don't forget, what's his name? Kelvin Benjamin tried out as a tight end for the Giants. He failed too because he
He
got
failed.
released.
We didn't even get to see him in
Yeah,
any action in any game action.
yeah. So this may lead to a trend. It's just a matter. I don't even think this trend will be successful. I mean, what coach is gonna want a 35-year-old playing a new position for the first time?
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, Tebow, I'm glad, I'm so happy he actually didn't make the roster because I'm not a Tim Tebow fan. But, I guess good for him for opening the door for his his colleagues and whatnot. But this was an unsuccessful attempt.
yeah. Moving on to some other player news. Actually, one thing we got to mention before the podcast: Jamal Adams got a contract extension for 4 years, $70 million. What do you think of that one?
I mean, I think it's great. He's definitely if it's all said and done, he'll be like probably the greatest blitzing safety of all time. I mean,
He can be.
he
Yeah,
can be. I mean, this he already has like over 30 sacks, right?
he has the record for most sacks by a safety in a single
I
season.
mean, so yeah, he's destined to become the best blitzing safety of all time if it all goes well. And I think the Seattle made a right move. He's not wasting his career in with the Jets, so I think Seattle locking him up for at least the time being for the next 4 years, and he'll probably get another contract after that if he performs, which I think he will. So I think it's a great move for both parties. Yeah, nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, the only thing I would have a problem is maybe too much money because the Seahawks definitely need to prioritize getting a solid offensive line, and it improved a little bit in the offseason, but still, with the amount of times that Russell Wilson has been sacked in his career, definitely need to leave some cap space for the offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see some injury stuff. So we have two notable players that tore their ACL. Travis Etienne, the first round running back drafted by the Jaguars, tore his ACL. What about that? What do you think is the impact on the Jaguars on that one?
I wouldn't say it impacts the Jaguars more so than it impacts Trevor Lawrence because this is Trevor Lawrence's rookie year, one of the most hyped rookies ever. And obviously that was his running back in college, and he was going to be this running back in the NFL, and now he's not going to be there. So I think this listen. I don't know how much it will hinder his growth as a quarterback, but it definitely takes him out of his comfort zone. Now, here's the thing: I do think James Robinson, who was the rookie last year, who
Yeah,
got over like 1,000 yards last
undrafted
year,
rookie.
undrafted rookie. So I mean, I know the Etienne stuff, yeah, it does suck, but it's not like they don't have a capable running back right behind them.
Yeah,
So it's just more so. I think it'll affect Trevor Lawrence more so than because no one was expecting the Jags to make the playoffs or anything. They have like
no.
a very terrible roster. So yeah, I think it impacts Trevor more than the actual team, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I don't. I think the person most affected is Travis Etienne himself, of course,
Yeah,
because they have James Robinson. Honestly, I don't even think it's going to affect Trevor too much, just because like he's a running back. I mean, he is a dual threat, right?
yeah,
Travis Etienne.
he's a receiving
Yeah.
and running back. Yeah,
Okay, so maybe so, but we haven't seen. Who knows? Maybe James Robinson can be also a good dual threat. Who knows?
yeah, we'll see.
So I don't know. I don't think this is a super big impact. I mean, it does suck that Etienne's going to miss his rookie season,
Mm-hmm.
but they have James Robinson. I wasn't a fan of the pick either,
Yeah,
drafting Etienne in the first round.
that's
They
high.
should have, yeah, they should have drafted an offensive lineman because they didn't need to pick another running back that high
Yeah,
because of James Robinson. They already have him. So I don't know. It's like there goes a first round draft pick for the year.
yeah,
It sucks.
it's a waste of a pick now in hindsight.
Yeah. Um, and then the other major injury is J.K. Dobbins. I think that's a much bigger injury.
Much bigger injury.
J.K. Dobbins, the Ravens running back, tore his ACL. He's done for the season. How much do you think that affects the Ravens?
Well, the Ravens are a run first offense for like ever since Lamar has taken the helm. There have been a run first offense, and J.K. Dobbins, along with Gus Edwards, along with Lamar Jackson, and before this season, along with Mark Ingram, they've always been the top three running teams, and if not three, then they're top two. But I do think this is gonna affect them. I don't know if they're gonna maybe find another running back to add to the running back room.
If they do add a running back to the room, the two best available free agents are Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley.
I wouldn't go with Gurley just because of injuries.
Yeah, his
Le'Veon is a
arthritis.
locker room. He's a locker room liability now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They might have to just sign some other guy or something, but or trade for somebody. But
Yeah.
I think this is this, and of course it's a bad thing. Like, why would you start him in the last game of the preseason? It's a whole thing. I mean, that's why I love what Sean McVay did as soon as he took the helm. He said, "Listen, I'm not playing starters in preseason no matter what."
Yeah.
And he kind of created like a trend, which I actually think is a better trend because why would you even risk the potential for injury for a star and or at least like a person you're going to rely on for the season? And so yeah, it's just like I can just tell there's a lot of anger and frustration about the situation. It sucks for Dobbins. It sucks for the Ravens because I was rooting for the Ravens this year. I like the Ravens a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I like the Ravens a lot because of Lamar. And but yeah, this sucks. This sucks for everybody involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the Ravens could still win their division, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to make the playoffs,
Yeah,
no doubt. But I don't know. It could potentially cause them to lose a division now, and if they are the wild card, I was thinking they're going to be the third seed or the fifth seed because whoever wins that division, I think is going to be better than the Titans, who's number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Titans are a pretty solid lock at number 4. Um, and yeah, it would be the Browns and the Ravens fighting for the 3rd seed, and the loser gets the 5th seed.
Yeah.
But now, if the Browns win the division, the Ravens could potentially be the 6th seed because of the Chargers now because of this injury.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much it affects them. I think they should definitely. Yeah, I just thought of someone they could trade for. Kenyon Drake is the backup for the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders really need him because they have Josh Jacobs. So I feel like that's a solid trade for a low pick. You could probably give the Raiders like a 6th-round pick for Kenyon Drake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would go with that over signing Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell because, as you said, Todd Gurley, his arthritis is messing him up.
Yeah.
And Le'Veon Bell, he's just whole drama scene.
He's a drama queen.
Yeah, drama queen. Man. That's so funny that how fast Le'Veon Bell's career just went upside down.
He could have been a Hall of Famer. He
yeah.
just was acted right, but I guess
yeah,
some people's ego are too big for themselves, man.
Yeah, that's true. And then as for injuries, I think that's it on the injuries. Let's see what else. In terms of trades, there hasn't been anything too big. The Jets did trade for Shaq Lawson. He was on the Texans, and Shaq Lawson is now going to the Jets. So that's a
because Carl Lawson tore his
Achilles. His Achilles.
Carl Lawson tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that's a good trade, and it's another Lawson. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
But that's a good trade. I mean, they needed to replace him somehow. He was their big money free agent, and so they had to get some kind of replacement or compensation for him, and I guess they got it. So.
Yeah. Speaking of trades, another one I just remembered. I can't believe I almost forgot. Sony Michel got traded to the Rams, and this is big because we were talking about how Cam Akers tore his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams lost their number 1 running back, and Sony Michel got traded to replace him. How much? How well do you think Sony Michel is going to fill those shoes?
I think he's going to fill them well. I think they're generally the same kind of running back, power backs. I think you can generally get a general sense of production from Sony Michel. Listen, we don't even know how good Cam Akers. Cam Akers had a really good second half of the season.
Yeah.
So we don't even know how good he was going to be. Like, he could have totally fallen and just become irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I think Sony Michel is very reliable. You think any player from the Patriots is always a reliable, he's always going to be a solid player for another team.
Yeah.
But and plus I think Sony Michel, he was when the Patriots won in 2018 and through the playoffs, he scored 5 touchdowns in 3 games. He went off in those playoffs, and so he has the ability to carry the load and all that. And I think honestly as good as a replacement as you can get for Cam Akers. So I think this was a great move.
Yeah, I totally agree. So in our last podcast, you were saying that Cam Akers tearing his ACL is going to impact the Rams greatly. I didn't think so as much, but I will say, though, I think the impact of getting Sony Michel to replace injured Cam Akers is huge. I will say that.
Yeah.
The fact that they could find somebody to fill his shoes is great. So,
I still have some reserved thoughts about the Rams, even despite the Sony Michel trade. I still think the Seahawks are gonna win the division, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Wow.
What else? What other kind of news you got for me?
The next. So I have one thing I want to talk about before the next topic.
What's up?
So our next topic, I'll announce what it is. We'll talk about the quarterback battles.
Oh yeah.
Who won them? Yeah, who won them, and what do we think about them? But the last thing in terms of just individual personnel players is Malcolm Butler is pretty much announced his retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you all know, he's the savior of the Patriots in the Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl. So because Malcolm Butler signed with the Cardinals in the offseason, do you think this affects the Cardinals in a big way at all?
Yes, because the Cardinals secondary is not. Yeah, I mean, besides Buda Baker, and they lost Patrick Peterson,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah,
think
he's with the
Malcolm
Vikings
Malcolm
now.
Butler was supposed to be like the kind of like the least equal replacement for what kind of players they are. But this is troubling for the Cardinals. I mean, obviously, I wish all well to Malcolm Butler. I mean, he made one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
So I wish all well to him. He had a great career, very solid career. But in terms like the impacting the Cardinals, this impacts them greatly. I mean, you're in a division with Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, sorry,
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, and then whether Garoppolo or
Trey
Trey Lance,
Lance.
whichever one ends up starting, which I think will be Garoppolo. But either way,
Yeah.
you got some gunslingers in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Cardinals' front seven is actually very decent, especially for all the rushing attacks that division has.
Yeah.
It was just their secondary. I mean, last year you saw it, and now this year with Malcolm Butler leaving, that is troubling. I still
Yeah.
think Buda Baker's gonna have a great season, but I think the Cardinals secondary as a whole will probably hurt from this.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. And they definitely need all the firepower they can get in the NFC West because that is the toughest division in the whole league.
Yeah,
And I mean, yeah, because all the entire NFC West could make the playoffs.
yeah,
They're
it's
that
possible.
good.
It's
But at the
possible.
same time, I think the Cardinals are the worst team in their division.
Mm-hmm.
And then so and I think I have the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers all making the playoffs. Rams winning the division. So that's already two wild card spots taken up. So that means you have to fight with, potentially the Panthers. The Saints are good enough. The Vikings on the other hand,
Yeah,
if Justin Fields takes the helm early and the Bears go up to speed and they're hot, you have to compete with them for that
yeah,
seventh spot. Yeah, the Cardinals need everything they can get, so this could potentially hurt them pretty bad in the long run, especially with Russell Wilson and Matthew Stafford in the division. And Jimmy Garoppolo is honestly not bad.
yeah,
He's really not. And then the 49ers, I've heard, doesn't matter who starts, Jimmy G or Trey Lance, they will be alternating in the game.
mm-hmm.
It's not going to be just one person starting the whole game. So, and yeah, that's a solid quarterback duo right there you got to deal with. So yeah, I totally agree with you. That's pretty big.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna. This might knock out. This may determine where Arizona falls in the wild card standings.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of Jimmy G and Trey Lance, let's go to the quarterback
Yeah,
battle situation. So let's talk about the teams. So Niners, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, that hasn't been hashed out yet.
it's the only one that hasn't been hashed out.
Yeah, only one that hasn't been officially announced. Um, the Broncos announced Teddy Bridgewater as their starting quarterback over Drew Lock. Mac Jones not only was chosen as a starting quarterback, but the Patriots released Cam Newton. That's a big one we're gonna get to. And Andy Dalton starting over Justin Fields.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was too much of a quarterback battle because it was already announced, but I will just mention it just because there was the Eagles do have solid backups, but Jalen Hurts is announced as a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'm announcing that is because we have Joe Flacco and Gardner Minshew now.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other big trade. Gardner Minshew got traded to the
Minshew.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, what do you think about that trade, Minshew to the Eagles?
It's good for Minshew's career because let's say Hurts doesn't work out. I mean, then you give. I mean, we may see Gardner Minshew this season, depending on how the Eagles season goes. Like, let's say Jalen Hurts is not performing and up until week 11 or 12, and the Eagles just want to decide they want to go in a different. Because let's say by week 10, by week 10, 11, 12, they're already done. Like they have 8 or 9 losses.
Yeah.
I think you just if Jalen Hurts isn't performing, you put Gardner in there, see what he does for the rest of the season. You see how him and Devontae connect because I think Gardner is definitely more of a gunslinger than Jalen Hurts. I think you just see what you got with Gardner. Gardner Minshew, I'm not a big fan of him, but I'm not going to admit that he has potential to be a really good player. I just don't like the cheesiness of his weird mullet gimmick. I think that's kind of dumb. But I'm definitely Philadelphians will definitely set that shit straight. I mean, like Philadelphians don't have time for mullets or cow rattlesnake boots. They want to see wins. So I think Gardner Minshew. I think that this is actually a great move for his career,
Yeah.
depending on what happens with Jalen. Jalen Hurts shows promise though. He's like has a good completion percentage, all that stuff. He's probably just gonna play out the whole season, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think it was and it wasn't a good move for the Jaguars because the way it was a good move is like Trevor Lawrence is going to be the starter, and Gardner Minshew could potentially start another team.
Yeah.
Like Gardner Minshew is definitely one of the best backups in the league right now.
Top 10, yeah.
Top. I'd say top 5 backups.
I would have to think about that before I say it. But
I mean, who else?
Not Nick Foles. It depends. Like you got
not Nick Foles. I mean,
Nick Foles is top 10 again,
as a backup.
Okay, if we're judging. Okay, here's the thing. I judge backups by like if my quarterback went down and this guy came in, would I still be confident or at least over 50% confident that we would win the game? Then I think that makes you a good backup. Like the Chargers backup is Chase Daniel. If he started a game for us, I would assume we would lose because he's not a playmaker. He doesn't show anything. But like, if
he's one of the better backups, though.
He's a reliable, he's a game manager backup. But if we're facing the Chiefs, we're gonna lose. Like, there's no way Chase Daniel's gonna beat the Chiefs. So that's just impossible.
Yeah.
But like I don't even like Mitch Trubisky as a backup. How do you you know what I mean? Like he could be top 10. We don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Nick Foles is reliable. He is old now. He's on the older side. But think about what he did with the Bears. I mean, he won like 3 games and he lost.
Nick Foles, see, it's so weird with Nick Foles. He has to come in under the right circumstances. He always comes in when the quarterback. Every time he comes in for an injured quarterback, does great. Any other time, that's Nick Foles. 2013, Mike Vick gets injured.
Yeah.
Nick Foles, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
And he tied the record for most touchdown passes in a game.
Yeah, 7 TDs, insane against the Raiders.
Yeah, and I know Carson Wentz won the Super Bowl. I know that.
Yeah.
My point is that we're just reading backups.
I know.
Yeah. But what the hell were you talking? Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Gardner. Yeah, he could be a cool backup for the Jaguars, but at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is someone you commit to. Like, even if Gardner Minshew plays, they're not going to commit to Gardner.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, Gardner Minshew doesn't even, not Gardner Minshew. The Jaguars don't even have a roster. They don't even have a goal for the only goal this season for the Jaguars is just to, develop Trevor Lawrence and see what you got with him for the first couple of years. That's the only goal. You're not going to win the division.
And I also say see how well Urban Meyer is as a coach. Because there's been rumors right now. Some of the things, there's been rumors that some of the Jaguars players are already unhappy with his coaching styles.
Yeah.
And he made that announcement. It was today that when they were making the 53-man roster, Urban Meyer himself took into accounts of whether players vaccinated and unvaccinated. And we're not here to tell your opinions on that, but the reason that's important is because I'm pretty sure the NFL stated that you cannot discriminate a player based on whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated. It's just you have to evaluate them purely on talent. And so the Jaguars could potentially be under investigation for that.
I mean, the Jaguars are always under investigation by the Player Association. They have the most grievances filed against them.
Really?
They do. It's by a long shot. They have the most grievances filed against them.
Where'd you find that out?
I watched a video about the Saxonville collapse, and they said this is also when Tom Coughlin was the VP, the president.
Yeah.
And they said they had the most everybody. No one any Jaguars coaching decision is always the wrong one, or the coaching staff, management. Huh. It's just bad. So they have the most grievances filed against them.
I didn't know that.
There was even a time where the NFLPA put a thing they're warning if you're a free agent and you're going to sign with the Jaguars, be cautious, because you know what I mean.
Really?
Yeah. You can look this stuff up. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up.
What type of allegations?
Nah, just the way it's not. It didn't get into specifics. It was just it was a stat because it was surrounding. I mean, think about it. There's no players that ever finish their career in Jacksonville.
Oh, no.
if you're good in Jacksonville, it's like basically like it's like going
You
from like
you punched your ticket out of there.
it's almost like it's like a G League, you know what I mean, or like it's like a like minor league. It's like
Oh.
the Jacksonville is like a minor league farm system, so the players can go to other teams if you really think about it.
Honestly,
And
it's kind of true.
yeah, and so that's yeah. So if you just search this out, but anyway, I mean, we don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is gonna work out in Jacksonville. Like after his rookie deal, he could ship off to somewhere else, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love to see because I don't like the Jacksonville
Yeah.
Jaguars are they're a franchise that just should not exist.
Yeah.
When San Diego doesn't have a team, or what's another city that doesn't have a team, or St. Louis doesn't have a team.
Yeah.
Like there's bigger cities with better populations and better sports fans than Jacksonville, Florida. Literally, like the 5th most relevant city in that state. Orlando's more relevant. Tampa Bay is more relevant. Miami's more relevant, and I'm pretty sure even Dayton is probably even more relevant, or Daytona, whatever the hell that's. Daytona Beach. Anyway, yeah, Jacksonville's an irrelevant franchise. I don't like the Jaguars. When Jacksonville went to the AFC Championship a few years ago, I can't believe people were rooting for them. Like, you really want to see Jacksonville versus the Eagles? Who wants to see that? No, that's a terrible story. So, I don't even know how we got here. What was the Gardner Minshew? Gardner Minshew got traded to the Eagles. Good for him. Good for the Eagles. Honestly, because I'm not even a Jalen Hurts guy, because like him, like this guy loves Jalen Hurts with all his life.
I mean, we'll still see how he does.
Yeah, but I feel like you're optimistic about him. I am not optimistic about anything Eagles related, other than maybe Devontae Smith being really good. I think that I think he's gonna be the next Tyreek Hill, in my opinion.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But Devontae Smith is tall and he's got like
and speedy and all that stuff. So anyway, then plus he's a Heisman winner. Yeah. Gardner Minshew, I think, has been put in a very blessed position because the way I feel, Jalen Hurts he's not gonna cut it for Philadelphia.
Wow.
Joe Flacco is not gonna cut it for any team. And
no, Joe Flacco's way past his prime. He's a certified backup now
for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
once Lamar took his position, it was over.
It was over. Yeah. And so this may be a no-brainer decision by week 10, week 11. It may be like you guys are sitting at 2-8 or 1-9, and you guys need a spark on the offense because Jalen Hurts is just running around for his life and throwing incomplete passes and interceptions. He has a 52% completion percentage, 9 passing touchdowns with 14 interceptions. So who do you bring in? The mullet. Gardner Minshew comes in for Philadelphia. They're still going to have a losing record, but he throws for over 2,500 yards, throws for 20 touchdowns, only like 7-8 interceptions, and then boom, Gardner Minshew is officially named the starter for the next season of the Philadelphia Eagles. The next season,
that is bold.
The Eagles get another good wide receiver because Howie Roseman's not messing around anymore. Now you got Devontae Smith and let's say some random guy from LSU or Florida. And now, boom, you guys are back to where you guys should have been 2 or 3 years ago. With Gardner Minshew at the helm, Devontae Smith on the outside, Zach Ertz having a career resurgence due to Gardner Minshew's play this season, and now he just got a brand new $30 million contract. Eagles fans are happy. I'm happy. I'm happy for him. Avery's happy. And boom, the city of Philadelphia has their new Philadelphia sports icon, Gardner Minshew. This can work out very, very well for everybody involved.
Damn, son, you've thought about this.
And yeah, I have, because anyway,
holy crap!
Any final thoughts on this?
No, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Just making sure.
Wow. Okay.
No,
yeah,
when I'm right, I want everybody to come back and say, "Oh yeah, this guy was."
Come back to episode 15 of the Thunderbird podcast, be like, "Oh, Don was right." That's wow. Wow. All right.
See, I just got you optimistic, didn't I? Did I not?
Not really.
Any Eagles fans, did I not get you a little bit optimistic?
I mean, it was such a bizarre scenario. Not really.
All right.
That's right. Okay. Other quarterback battles. I think this is actually the last one. Is Jameis Winston winning it?
I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Taysom Hill is a good quarterback. I think he's a much better as a running back or wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know,
he's just the wildcat player.
He's a wildcat player.
Taysom Hill could potentially go down in the Hall of Fame just for being like the most well-rounded NFL player ever. That man can do everything.
He can, but he's gonna have to play for like 8 more years at least.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he had 2 good seasons, like
yeah,
this season and
yeah.
last
I
season.
said he could.
Yeah.
He could.
So, but yeah, Jameis Winston. I think this was a no-brainer decision. You go with the more experienced quarterback. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards one season. He did throw for he's part of the 30-30 club, but he got LASIK. His eyes are good, unlike mine. But so I think he's definitely destined for a lot of. Now here's the thing: we saw in preseason against Jacksonville again, even though it was against third stringers and fourth stringers, but you can see how well that Saints team is when they have a quarterback who can throw downfield.
Yeah,
And Jameis Winston has a let's not sugarcoat anything. Jameis Winston has a cannon of an arm,
Yeah, he
like a
does.
top 5 arm. That guy can throw 70 yards like Randall Cunningham. So I think now listen, this is whether I think the Saints will actually make the playoffs. I think they'll fall short, 9-8, 8-9, somewhere around that feels more secure to me than like an 11-5 season or 11-6 season.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I think this is great for Jameis's confidence. Like, I think Sean Payton will definitely open up the playbook now. He's not gonna have to run any more slants or like curl routes because he's now just gonna have a guy who can just sling it any yards down the field.
I think that's a good point that it
Yeah.
opens up the playbook.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara will be much more. He'll be much more present in the passing game now. I mean, now he can run a 30-yard wheel route if he wanted to. So
Yeah,
this is great. I mean, I'm rooting for Jameis. I know everybody. I think Jameis is honestly he's actually a universally loved quarterback by most NFL fan bases. Like no one really hates
now
Jameis
he
because he's
was.
never really done anything. But we're all
People hated him when he first came into the league just because he had some maturity issues back
yeah.
in Florida State.
He also did the eating the dub.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
That was the we're gonna eat a dub.
And everybody was like, yeah.
I remember
okay.
the look on. Oh, it was in Tampa Bay. Deshaun Jackson was on the team, and I saw Deshaun Jackson in the background. He's like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck?" Yeah, dude, that was funny. But yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you said. I don't know why this was ever announced as a battle in the in the first place, because like Taysom Hill is a Wildcat player. He's a Wildcat player.
Yeah.
That's what he was signed for. That's what he always will be, and a great one.
Yeah,
and a great Wildcat player.
Yeah.
That's also like Taysom Hill being a Wildcat player and James Winston at the helm being able to throw deep balls. I think it also helps to open up the playbook, because if they were to have Taysom Hill, who cannot can he throw farther than Drew Brees did last season?
Probably.
Sure. But does he have the cannon that Jameis Winston does? No.
Or the accuracy.
Yeah. No. Yeah, if you restricted Taysom Hill to the starting quarterback over Jameis Winston, the playbook goes.
It shrinks a little.
It shrinks quite a bit. But with Jameis at the helm,
you have everything.
Taysom Hill at the Wildcat,
everything. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
The tight end, who I forget the name of.
I don't know. Their tight end is now that Jared Cook went to the Chargers.
Oh, I thought they had another guy. But anyway.
Yeah.
Either way, this is good. This is I'm rooting for Jameis. He's a very likable guy now.
Yeah.
There's basically any player that fails and the first time around, and when they get a second chance, he instantly becomes loved by everybody.
Yeah.
And so we're rooting for Jameis.
Yeah,
we're going for Jameis this year.
Yeah. And then so the other battles, Teddy Bridgewater winning over Drew Lock. What do you think of that one?
I mean, I was surprised because, especially for the Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater is another Alex Smith, basically game manager. He doesn't really throw downfield a lot. He doesn't really scramble that much anymore. Yeah. So, but the fact that he let Drew Lock couldn't even beat him out is very troubling.
Yeah. I completely agree.
That is Drew Lock has a great arm too. Like another guy who just has a cannon.
Not only that, but I think this is a terrible look for the Broncos, because back in the draft, the Broncos, they said that because Justin Fields got picked 3 picks after them.
Yeah.
3 picks after them by the Bears. they announced during the draft or just after that they didn't pick Justin Fields because they wanted to give Drew Lock another shot at number one. So I mean, you got Patrick Surtain, one of the best corners in the draft, and he's going to probably have a great career. But considering that you had Justin Fields right there,
Yeah.
and the Broncos have been terrible drafting quarterbacks ever. Actually, they've always been uh, terrible at drafting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They got lucky that John Elway didn't want to play with. I think it was the Colts because
Yeah.
John Elway and Eli Manning both had a situation where they were like, we don't want to play for the teams that's going to draft us.
Yeah. John Elway's the only quarterback not even drafted by the Broncos.
Yeah, he wasn't even actually drafted by the Broncos. The Broncos got lucky to have Elway, and then Peyton Manning Manning. So they've never actually drafted a good quarterback, and the fact that they passed up on Justin Fields, that's bad. That's bad. Especially with Drew Lock being the backup now to Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, I think Teddy Bridgewater is the more reliable, but Drew Lock has the higher ceiling. I think Drew Lock has higher potential than Teddy B, but Teddy B, I think, is going to throw less interceptions, have less turnovers than Drew Lock did.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Like, he's going to have less turnovers, but I don't even think he's going to, have more passing yards than Drew would or more touchdowns than Drew would.
I don't think so.
And so I think they're definitely setting themselves up for, let's just get through this year, and when Rodgers becomes available next year, that's when we'll get him. Yeah. I honestly think that's what happened. They tried to get him this offseason, couldn't. And then Rodgers announced he was only going to play this season. That's it. So now, okay, let's just wait. Because at that point, they're just why let's not even play Drew Lock. Rodgers is probably going to want to play for us next season. And so there's no point in trying to develop Drew Lock. Now, I do think, it's not to say you could still start him this year and then try to hopefully have him play good and then get a good draft pick or something, or at least a fourth or third rounder and to another quarterback needy team. I think they could have gone that route too if that was the plan. So I think but I don't even know why I guess Drew was just that not impressive in off season. So troubling. I guess it's going to be bad for the Broncos. They're not going to win the division this year. I think everybody can. No. Now
as long as Mahomes is breathing on the Chiefs, nobody besides the Chiefs winning that division.
Yeah.
The only team that could is the Chargers.
Yeah, because Herbert's a god. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think this is trouble for Drew Lock. I don't know where his career is going to go after this. I know the Broncos are going to be destined for another 500 or under 500 season.
Yeah.
And I guess we're just going to have to wait for Aaron Rodgers to show up next year and just wreak havoc.
It's crazy. The Broncos truly are a quarterback away from greatness.
They are.
They truly are. The Broncos roster is actually, if you look at the offense, the defense is obviously the best part, but even the offense is solid.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton's an underrated receiver.
Yeah.
Underrated. They have Melvin Gordon. They drafted the third running back taken in the draft. Javon Williams is his name.
They have a decent O-line.
Noah Fant. Yeah. A decent O-line. They just need a quarterback. That's it.
Here's the thing. I don't even think Vic Fangio is actually the coaching. I think they could easily get a better coach. I think, actually, if the one thing that's actually has been bad since what's his name? Vic Fangio took over in 2018 or 19.
I think
19, right?
That was his 18.
That was his first season.
Yeah.
So I think ever since he took over in 2018, the defense has obviously been much more impressive than the offense. And so I think no matter what, the defense will always be good. I think if they just drafted an offensive-minded coach rather than Vic Fangio, I think they'd probably be also in a better spot for when Aaron Rodgers comes in. And so, I think troubling news for this season. But don't worry, Broncos fans, you're going to get A-Rod next year. You guys will probably make the playoffs until my Chargers eliminate you in the wild card round. All right.
Yeah. And then, before we get to the big quarterback situation, let's talk Jimmy G and Trey Lance. And then also also Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Let's talk about the 49ers situation first. So, who do you think is going to be starting week 1? Because that hasn't officially been announced.
I think Garoppolo, in my opinion, will most likely get, because Trey Lance his ceiling is so damn high.
Yeah.
That you can have him sit for this season and be okay and be rest assured. Like Trey Lance, he's a project that you have to be very, very careful with.
Yeah.
He gets injured, and like even one like a broken neck, a broken clavicle, Achilles, an ACL tear, that might be it, because you have to be that careful with him.
Yeah.
Garoppolo is Garoppolo's not reliable either, because his injury history is terrible.
Yeah.
But he'll get you some wins. He's very, at least when he's healthy, he's
Garoppolo
very reliable.
will get you wins.
Yeah.
Is Garoppolo the guy that you envision making carrying your team through the playoffs into the Super Bowl? No. When the 49ers went to the Super Bowl in the 2019 season, it was Raheem Mostert carried them through the playoffs. Yeah. You know, the running back. So is Jimmy G that quarterback? No, but he's a quarterback that will get you there.
He's gonna get you there. He'll get you there.
Yeah, he'll get you to the playoffs.
But he's not gonna
He's not gonna get you a deep run.
We saw him in a game against Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes didn't even play that much better than Garoppolo in that game. He threw 2 picks. Yeah. But even then, Mahomes took over in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, man. I mean, Garoppolo's gonna start. I have 49ers have such a good roster. It's just it's weird. All these teams with these quarterback competitions and all that, they're still, even with their starter, I'm still not confident in the actual quarterback picks. No matter who is going to get picked. What's the one that we just talked about? Before this, what did we just talk about? The Broncos.
Yeah,
there was Drew Lock or Bridgewater. I'm not confident in either to actually lead that team to a playoff win or anything, or the playoffs in general.
Playoffs, let alone.
Yeah, so Garoppolo, he's good if he's healthy, and he'll get you to playoffs. Trey Lance, if you have him starting, he's a playmaker, but we don't know how he is because he hasn't played football that much in the past 2 years.
Yeah, and also in preseason, he did tie for most touchdowns, but he was the only rookie quarterback to throw an interception, and also he had the worst completion percentage. Actually, had under 50%.
Yeah,
he was 19 for 41 in total passes during the preseason.
Yeah, he needs more first-team reps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think that'll come. That will eventually come for him, obviously, because they drafted him at 3. So
yeah,
he's gonna get the first-team reps eventually. I just don't know if it's gonna be this season. I think the right move is to go with Garoppolo.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in a hurry with Trey Lance, in my opinion.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think that they definitely should start Garoppolo, I think Trey Lance can sit a little bit and learn, and he will get some first team reps because Kyle Shanahan has announced that there will be points in the game where he just decides to bring in Trey Lance. So who knows? They can maybe use him as less dynamic Taysom Hill package.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to see. And then I think that's it. Yeah, Jimmy G should get the starting job. Yeah, for this year.
I will say about that Kyle Shanahan thing. I will say you don't need to have Trey Lance coming in and running quarterback runs or draws because you can get injured like that.
Yeah,
I'd much rather you have him
that's
come
a really
and throw,
good point.
You have him come and throw passes.
No, that's actually a really good point because the Eagles tried that. They tried that last year with Jalen Hurts, and dear Lord, I mean, it didn't help that Doug Peterson's play calling was already the most predictable play calling in the world. But you knew before last season when Jalen Hurts officially took the job from Carson Wentz, whenever they had Jalen Hurts come in for a play, you knew it was a quarterback draw. Yeah. You knew. The defense could read that shit like a cat in a hat. Like a kid's Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So that's something I would definitely warn against is having him for simply just bring him in for quarterback draws because I'm telling you that's going to get so predictable so fast.
Yeah, you have him unless you're on the goal line.
I saw it with the Eagles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unless you're on the goal line.
Trey Lance is huge. He's a humongous dude. So
yeah,
he can power through.
Yeah, also even from the 5 or the 10 because you can have him throw a dart or scramble out and get a touchdown. But other than that, if they're at the 50, don't call them in for a QB draw. Don't.
Just don't.
Oh,
Even if it's 4th and 1,
yeah,
just run with Mostert.
yeah, exactly. Or even trick them up with Jimmy G, because they
Yeah.
won't expect that,
Yeah.
but they will expect Trey Lance.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
be careful, Niners.
Yeah. And then Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. Ooh, let's talk about that one.
I mean, my disappointment for this is
Immeasurable.
immeasurable, as
Yeah.
all Chicago fans are. I mean, we're all feeling this.
As the whole league is.
The
really.
whole league. No one wants to see, and the league has moved past the need for Andy Dalton to be a starting quarterback.
No.
So here's the thing. As much as Andy Dalton is like, oh yeah, this is my team now, it's not, dude, just stop. Just stop. You know damn well who you are. You are a decent quarterback, probably a bona fide backup at this point in your career.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is obviously much more of a playmaker than you, and probably has a stronger arm than you too.
Yeah.
And he's faster. He's basically the only thing you have on Justin Fields is experience. Other than that,
yeah,
Andy Dalton starting, and God knows how long they're gonna make him start. Like I would be happy if it was just okay. Let's have him start week 1, and then just bring in Justin Fields and have him play the rest of the season. Listen, there's always, ever since Mahomes, there's this thing. Do you sit the rookie quarterback, or do you let him play straight out of the gate? And there's tons of examples of working for both ways working. Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, like they're literally like they all sat for either their first year or multiple years after that. And then so there's other players that have just come out of the gate and just played straight up.
Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck,
Russell Wilson. Like Josh. Did Josh Allen play week 1? I don't think he did actually.
No, his first season, yeah, he did.
He did? Okay, yeah. Josh Allen.
But he was okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's man, the difference between year 1, year 2, and year 3, Josh Allen, insane.
But Lamar Jackson sat. You know what I mean?
For a little bit, not the whole season.
Yeah, I know, but still, like you start the year off
with Joe Flacco
and on the bench.
Yeah.
And so I think Justin Fields is a case study where I think he'll be successful either way.
Yeah.
Whereas a guy like Trey Lance, I would be more confident if he just sat like for the first year.
Yeah.
Or who else? Actually, no, that's pretty much it. I guess Mac Jones could have been, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But Justin Fields is a playmaker. I'm excited about him as a Bears fan, as I'm sure all my other fellow Chicagoans, my other Chicago Bears, which is, I know a lot of Chicago Bears fans in San Diego. You know, I listen. I work in a grocery store as a deli guy. You know how many Bears fans I see with the Chicago Bears T-shirts and the hat, and I ask them, "Hey, how do you feel about this season?" And they all tell me, "Dude, we're starting Andy Dalton. No one wants to see that."
My newest roommate, diehard Bears fan. He's been a fan since the '85 Super Bowl.
Dang, so he's old.
Yeah, yeah, and and we talk about it a lot. It's nice to have a roommate that I can talk about as much football, as you with him.
Yeah.
And he's a diehard Bears fan, and we always talk about how it's ridiculous that Andy Dalton is going to be starting. So to give my point on, or to give my take on the matter. So I was watching. So I've already mentioned on the channel, I like to listen to The Herd. It's the Colin Cowherd podcast, his show. And he has a guest on occasion named Nick Wright. Well, I don't know if he's really a guest, but he appears enough to not be almost that. That's besides the point. Nick Wright, right?
He's
relevant. Yeah, he's a solid NFL analyst. Yeah. So he was bringing up some stats of Andy Dalton the last few years. Andy Dalton in the last 3 years has had a bottom 5 passer rating. The last 3 years.
Yeah.
And 1, that should tell you enough. And 2, think about it last year, the Cowboys. The Cowboys O-line, Ezekiel Elliott, in their receiving core. The Cowboys are at the least a bottom 3 trio.
Yeah.
For receivers. At the least a bottom 3 trio. Or sorry, top 3 trio, my bad. Mm-hmm. For receivers. And Andy Dalton still couldn't put up numbers.
Yeah.
Like I overrate Dak Prescott. I do, but at the least he put up numbers.
Yeah.
He did put up numbers
Yeah.
with that receiving core, as he should have, as any quarterback should with that receiving core. You know, but Andy Dalton couldn't.
Yeah.
So in the Bears receiving core, I think is highly underrated. I like Allen Robinson a lot, most underrated receiver in the league. I think Darnell Mooney's a pretty underrated receiver.
He's gonna break out this season.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, but nonetheless, still not as good as the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
And with that in mind, it's just like bottom 5 passer rating. Couldn't do much with the Cowboys receiving core. Not athletic like Justin Fields. Probably maybe doesn't have the cannon that Justin Fields does.
Yeah.
Doesn't just have that overall like athleticism. I think that leadership, and I think Justin. Not that Andy Dalton's a dramatic person like Le'Veon Bell is. You know, he's not stirring up the locker room.
Yeah.
But I think Justin Fields is someone that's going to inspire the locker room more than Andy Dalton is.
Yeah. No one listen. If you're Allen Robinson, and you see the two quarterbacks that you currently have.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna tell me Allen Robinson? Oh yeah, I'm sticking behind Dalton. He's my guy. Or no, you think everybody on that team wants Fields to start.
Allen Robinson almost walked away from the Bears this offseason.
Yeah.
He
if they didn't draft Fields, he probably would have I'm not signing that franchise tag.
Yeah. He signed the franchise tag probably because of Fields, and he knows that Fields is gonna be their choice.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I think this just shows how incompetent Matt Nagy is, because it's Matt Nagy mainly announcing that the Andy Dalton's going to be the starter, and it's for what? What's your basis on? I've heard a lot of people criticizing it, which I agree with. Like, you're just saying that you're keeping Andy Dalton as a starter simply because when you signed him, you said he's going to be the starter, and you signed him before you drafted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You know, so what? You're keeping him based off a promise that you made 6-7 months ago before the draft? Really? That's it? That's the basis of keeping him as a starter?
Yeah.
That's BS, man. That's BS. See, because you're right. I think you're saying Justin Fields is a case study for start rookie quarterback, bench rookie quarterback. Yeah. I think this is a scenario where even though you have a veteran, this is not a high-class veteran.
Yeah.
Like, this is not Aaron Rodgers you're talking about. This is not Tom Brady. This is not Matthew Stafford. It's not even Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's not athletic, but Ben Roethlisberger's still relevant and still is good. He's not great, definitely past his prime, but Ben Roethlisberger's still good, you know?
Yeah.
Andy Dalton? No.
Like even if Fitzpatrick was like the starter, I would be like, okay, Fitzpatrick
I'd still be a little upset, but
I'd be like, it's Fitzpatrick. He's a gunslinger. He's clutch sometimes. Yeah. I would understand it, but Andy Dalton is just trash.
Yeah.
And plus, we still have Nick Foles, who even though Nick Foles as a starting quarterback, even though that's kind of like he has a weird track record with that.
Yeah.
You know. So even I would even say Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Andy Dalton at this moment.
I would agree.
I don't see the point of, and sometimes you just gotta walk back on promises. Yeah. Just walk back on them. Andy Dalton, you only signed him to a 1-year contract anyway. Yeah. Just give him the money and tell him to shut up. Yeah. Just you're gonna sit on the bench. If we need you, we need you. This is Justin Fields' team.
Yeah.
I don't care if Andy Dalton even causes a stir, because then boom, release him. Who cares? Yeah. We have Nick Foles, and even if we get rid of Nick Foles, it doesn't matter, because if Justin Fields goes down, the season will go down. The season will go down anyway.
Yeah.
No one's expecting Andy Dalton or Nick Foles to make us to the postseason. Yeah. But Justin Fields, he's a playmaker. That's potential. It's potential. We could make a wild card next season. God knows we might even win the division because A-Rod might not even be in town. Yeah. So everything about this just screams like, you made a promise to him, so now you kind of have to walk in on that, so there's no tension in the locker room.
Yeah.
So sucks.
It's like, let's say I had a kid, which I definitely don't. Yeah. Let's say I had a kid, right? And I promised later on in the day I was gonna get her ice cream, but I need gas in my car, and I only have money to pay for gas. Like, what should I do? I should get gas, right? I shouldn't get her the ice cream because I need gas for my car for work tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
It sucks. I'll get you ice cream later,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of funny analogy, but you get the point.
No, I get it. It's just like
You get the point.
this is what you
sometimes
need,
you just need to
not
walk back on
what you
promises.
said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes what you have to do, sometimes it is different from what you said you were gonna do.
Yeah.
And so what the Bears need to do is start Justin Fields and let's get him going.
Yeah.
We don't have time to. We got to develop him now. A-Rod's leaving next season. Like we know that's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
confirmed to happen. The Vikings might come for that top spot in the North.
Yeah.
We can't allow that to happen. And I don't care. Even I know Jordan Love. We don't even know what Jordan Love is at this point.
We don't know.
So let's just not even put him in the conversation. We need a second-year Justin Fields who has snaps under his belt, has wins, maybe a couple losses, because that's what Herbert. Listen, Herbert is a perfect example. He went through everything last season. He blew teams out. He got blown out. He had comeback losses, comeback wins.
Not only that,
Yeah.
Herbert had the word. So apparently, watching some of the herd earlier today, talking about Justin Herbert and just the absolute specimen that he is and is going to be. Justin Herbert had the worst rated O-line last season.
Yeah.
The worst rated O-line, and posted the most touchdowns ever by a rookie in 15 games.
15.
He didn't play a full season. He didn't get that 16 game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is it's sad as a Bears fan, as a Chargers fan.
That's for everybody.
I mean, it's everybody.
Everybody wants to see Justin Fields play.
I am dying. As soon as he got drafted, he became my second favorite player because obviously it's Herbie first. Now it's Fields. Lamar's still my guy, so he's 3. But I want to see you. Everybody wants to see this guy play. Yeah. Everybody. This is Russell Wilson 2.0. When you get a Russell Wilson kind of guy, you don't just sit him for Andy Dalton.
No.
You can sit him for Rodgers. You can sit him for Brady. So you can sit him for Dak Prescott or Big Ben or even Derek Carr. You can sit him for those kinds of guys. Yeah. You don't sit him for Andy Dalton.
No.
Or it's just it's a boneheaded move by a historically boneheaded franchise that I love. But
anyways,
depressing.
Yeah, I just forgot one more quarterback win before we go into the Patriots. Ryan Fitzpatrick won the starting job for Washington football team.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
I don't think that's a huge thing, but actually the only reason I think that's important at all is because a lot of people were like, Taylor Heineke. But here's the thing. If Taylor Heineke loses the starting job to, 38-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is a roller coaster.
He's probably not that good.
No, there's a reason. Yeah, he had a lucky game. Yeah, where he just put out effort. Where he really put out effort.
He did.
But if you can't win the starting job in Ryan Fitzpatrick in his likely last year in the NFL, who's a roller coaster, goes gunslings trash. It's Then I think it's more of an issue for next season for Washington football team. I think Washington is a team that's going to need to draft a quarterback in next year's draft.
And they need to get a name first before all that.
Yeah, true.
Hopefully it's the Red Wolves, so we can sell them. Makes the most sense.
Just don't stay with football team.
Don't stay with football team.
Or
it's
get the presidents.
Stupid.
Yeah.
The Armada is badass.
Yeah.
The Washington Armada versus the Dallas Cowboys. That sounds awesome.
That actually does.
That sounds awesome. But we'll see.
I'll still hate the team because it's Washington.
It's Washington. But it's like, what, they're cool now.
But yeah, I'll at least give,
Yeah, the Armada.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, let's talk about the big quarterback situation because I think this was honestly out of nowhere, the biggest surprise. Because we were talking about Teddy B starting was a big surprise, right?
Yeah.
No, this one's big.
This is huge.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, Mac Jones not only gets the starting job, the Patriots cut Cam Newton. What do you think?
I mean, obviously it's related to the second COVID issue that Cam Newton recently had about protocol and he's not vaccinated. So, I mean, Bill Belichick is one of the most least patient, especially when it comes to
he's a no nonsense.
When it comes to maturity,
coach.
When it comes to professionalism, no nonsense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And he got fed up. I mean, if I was in this position, I'd probably be fed up too. So, I mean, this is just a situation where they did what they had to do. Plus, Mac Jones was going to be the future anyway, so
Yeah.
let's
Oh
just get.
yeah.
Might as well just start him earlier than
Even
usual.
even if Cam Newton was on the team started this year, Mac Jones is the future of the
Yeah.
Patriots.
So I don't even know if it's a good future. He's just the
Yeah.
future of the Patriots.
Yeah.
But so they're just fat. I guess they're speeding up this process to develop Mac Jones. I'm not against it. I think you got a
Yeah.
rookie, especially a guy like him. Where it's just like Mac Jones has got to be the most interesting. Besides Justin Fields, he's got to be the most interesting quarterback to evaluate.
He
Because
really
what
is.
is he?
Yeah.
He's not a gunslinger. He's not a runner. He's
definitely not a runner.
like what he is just a very accurate quarterback.
Mac Jones
You know what I
fits the description of like your typical 2000s quarterback.
Very,
Yeah.
very Kurt Warner like.
Kurt Warner, Tom Brady like in the sense
Brady.
in the sense
Early
of that
Brady.
in the
Early
sense in the
Brady.
sense of athleticism we're talking about
Yeah.
not we're not talking about how actually good, but in terms of athleticism,
Yeah.
because most modern day quarterbacks are athletic.
Eli Manning.
Yeah,
like
Eli Manning.
Jake Plummer.
Yeah, a sit in the pocket kind of guy, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, he's that's what he is. He's
Yeah.
like a Stafford, Matt Ryan,
Yeah.
except minus the cannon arms.
Yeah.
He's a pocket quarterback.
Yeah,
that's very
not
rare.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
rare. So
yeah, nowadays especially
everybody's a runner nowadays. Everybody can scramble for 500 yards in a season now.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it is. But I was thinking because I was like, well, like how good is Mac Jones going to be? I think Mac Jones actually can be pretty good this season, and the reason is because so I was listening to her and they're talking about it, and I was trying to see. I was like, do I agree? Do I disagree? I'm not a shiller for the herd. There are definitely some opinions I disagree with that Colin Cowherd makes, and Colin Cowherd is an opinionist that a lot of people agree with, disagree with. But this is one of the opinions I do agree with. Is he was talking about it in he's saying, look, like honestly, Mac Jones, like he'll do fine because he's honestly what Brady is. He's not someone that needs to have the biggest arm, doesn't need to have the most athleticism. That was never Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brady. But the thing is, Brady, he was saying that Brady, the reason we know him as well as we do, the reason he's so damn great is because he was reliable.
Yeah.
You get the same Brady. You never get these fluctuations. Tom Brady shit game.
He's
Tom
not
Brady great game. He's not inconsistent. He's consistently great.
Yeah.
That's Tom Brady. He's never fluctuating. Tom Brady, I can honestly say I don't think he's ever legitimately had like a bad game. He's had mediocre, but bad, terrible.
The only bad game I can recall was the Chiefs game, that Monday night one.
Oh yeah, okay, but even then,
okay,
he's never had a terrible game, But
he's never been he's never been god awful.
Yeah, there's never been a game where I went, oh my gosh, Tom Brady played awful. Yeah. No, never happened. And so, who knows? Maybe Mac Jones can be that reliable. Be what Tom Brady. Well, do I think he's ever going to be Brady? No.
He doesn't even have to be consistently great.
Yeah.
He can just be consistently good.
Yeah.
For the Patriots.
Exactly. And the Patriots have a solid roster, solid running back depth. I like their tight ends. The receivers questionable, with Nelson Aguilar being the number one receiver. But the defense, though, that's solid. Their O-line, solid. So, I don't know. I think the Patriots could make some noise. Who knows? They're definitely it's definitely between the Patriots and the Dolphins for the final 7 spot.
I would agree with that.
It's definitely between them, and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see the two Alabama quarterbacks duke it out. Mac Jones and Tua.
I mean, shifting to Cam a little. I have no idea what the rest of his career holds. I don't know if teams are going to want to sign him.
Yeah.
He still has talent. I know that. But
the thing is, it's like inconsistent now. And that's because of inconsistent. And that's because of his injuries, I think. I really don't think he I think he would have been starting to come out of his prime now if he never got injured. But his injuries definitely accelerated his decline. Yeah. And now he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, now everyone's saying might go to Houston or he might be a backup for Dak. I don't know.
Actually, that might not be the case anymore because the Panthers released Will Grier, who was their 5th-round draft pick, I don't know, a couple years ago, and the Cowboys just picked them up to to be their. I think Will Greer's probably going to be their second stringer now.
Yeah, and plus Cam Newton 5 years ago is not. He doesn't have the same name value as Cam
No.
Newton does today. Cam Newton has always been a very notable figure, but not always for the right reasons. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
other than the 2015 year, which he was a monster. Other than that, he's been pretty much average for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Like that one season was just, I guess looking back, that one season really was a anomaly. Like it's like Jesus, that team was so good for that one season, and then that's
Yeah.
it. They fell off the face of the earth. So
Yeah.
it sucks. But
Yeah.
that's the way life is. It's the way the NFL rolls. You know, no time for, especially with the Patriots, no
Yeah.
time for nonsense at all.
Yeah. Let's look. The other teams. Apparently, the Steelers are an option. Interesting.
I wouldn't. If I was the Steelers, I would run away from that. I would
Yeah.
not go for that. Why would you get another another?
Yeah. And Dwayne Haskins is set to make the team.
Yeah. So
Yeah. The Cowboys are an option, and then Washington football team. However, Ron Rivera addressed those rumors, and he's like, look, even if we sign Cam, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starter week one.
Plus, Newton's not the future of a team anymore. He's like,
no.
He got drafted in 2011.
Yeah.
He's old. So
yeah.
And plus, his body's breaking down at this point. So
yeah,
it's just we don't know what the future will hold for Cam. Hopefully, it's positive, but it's all up to him.
I hope he gets signed by a team. I hope he does, but doesn't mean he's going to be the starter. Who would he? The only team I could think of that he would potentially be the starter of is like the Texans.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And like I can't even really think of it. Like, nah. I mean, I think Jared Goff would probably beat him out. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
People forget Jared Goff. I'm not gonna say he's underrated because I think he's rated just where it good as an okay quarterback. Yeah. People forget Jared Goff had a great 2-year stretch from 2017 to 2018.
Yeah.
He was actually a top. Let me be careful. I was gonna say top 5. I'm not gonna say that.
Top 10.
He was a top 15-ish quarterback.
Yeah, top 15, top 10, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not saying the Lions are going to be horrible, god awful this year.
They will.
But even if I don't even think you could put Cam Newton on that, it would make him any better than Goff would. So
yeah. So with all I think that's all the quarterback stuff out of the way.
I believe so.
Yeah. So so we don't have my laptop with the brackets that we show, the screen share. I think we'll probably put that up in our week one. But I think we can at least announce our final say for where we think teams are going to be seated. So just we have that bet, and then next week I'll show that adjusted bracket to see where our final preseason 2021 playoff predictions stand, and we'll see how right we are at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. But I also took the liberty of just going ahead doing a quick prediction. I went through every team schedule this season. I ran through some records.
Psycho.
Yeah. I tried to go really hard with it earlier, but it just got really complicated with trying to bust it out in an hour or two and really look, okay, this team, wins this game, and then predict another team's schedule, go back. Oh wait, oh no, because did this team win? Did this team win? Because there's a lot of games that are really could go either way. There's too many games I saw that could go either way. So I just decided to go through and go, okay, maybe I just gave him a probable record.
A general idea of what the record
a general idea. Yeah. So I can bust through them real quick. NFC East, I got my Eagles 5-12. I hate to say it. They could win 6.
It's gonna be less.
They could win 6, maybe 7.
Unless Gardner Minshew starts, and I think they'll probably make the wild card.
No. I think, I think 5 or 4 is my pessimist version. I think they could win 6-7. I don't think so though, considering the bad luck. So I gave the Eagles 5-12. The Giants 8-9. Washington football team 6-11. Yes, you heard me. All you crazy psychos who think that the Washington football team will be the first.
They might be the most overrated team in the NFC.
I think the most overrated team in the league. Let's talk about them real quick.
The most overrated is the Titans, but sure.
No, even more overrated. Because there's people who legitimately think out there that Washington is going to be the first NFC East team to win the division back-to-back years since the 03-04 Eagles. If there's been any NFC East team in the last 5 years to pull that stunt off and win the division back-to-back, it's not the Washington football team. Like, people rave about their defense, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. I just drafted their defense in my fantasy team for a reason. But people forget that their offense is mediocre at best, and people forget that because all people only like to look at, they won the division last year. They have a great defense. People forget how mediocre, honestly bad, their offense is, and the fact that they won 7 games. They were lucky to be in the NFC East last season. They were lucky. They won the division with 7 wins, and the last 2 teams to win their division with 7 wins ended up actually winning a wild card playoff game. They didn't. They didn't. I mean, it was against the Bucks, the Super Bowl champs, but nonetheless, my point is, you only won 7 games. They're bad offense, inconsistent Ryan Fitzpatrick, and yeah. So no, I have, and also they have a relatively difficult schedule. So I had them at 6-11, and the Cowboys winning the division at 9-8. They'll be the 4th seed in the NFC.
It's fair.
Yeah, and then as for the NFC South, I got the Bucks as the number 1 seed, going 14-3. There's not many teams that can beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
And some of the teams I have beating, like the Bucks, I don't think it will happen, but they could beat every team. They could. Will it happen? Likely not, because it's pretty insane for a team to. We've only seen one 16-0 team, Tom Brady's Patriots. Now you got to go 17-0 to go undefeated. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough. So I have them 14-3 as the number 1 seed. The Saints, I really wanted to give them a higher record, but they have a difficult schedule. 6-11. Falcons 5-12, and I had the Panthers at 8-9. Yeah, and then the West. This one was fun to predict. I have the Cardinals in last at 9-8.
That's how good the division.
That's how good the division is. 9-8 is the worst team. And then I have the Seahawks as the 6th seed, 12-5. I had the 49ers as the 5th seed, also 12-5. The reason I had the 49ers at 5 over 6, the same record, is because just some rules of like common opponents beat or whatever. Because I had the 49ers beating the Packers and the Seahawks losing to the Packers. And like that game, I think will give the 49ers the 5th seed. And then the Rams as the number 2 seed, going 13-4. I love the Rams team. They could potentially win more. I don't think so, because 13 already is high. But I don't see them. I definitely don't see them going only 11 wins. I think they're a 12-13 win team. So I have them 13-4. As number 2 seed. As for the North, I have the Lions as the worst team in the NFC. They're 3-14. The Bears. This will fluctuate depending on. They're the most unpredictable team, because if Justin Fields goes in, that team is upgrades. Yeah, elevated so much further. But and also they do have a hard schedule. The NFC North has a hard schedule because they play the NFC West. So all those teams have a hard schedule. Just playing the NFC West alone.
Yeah.
So I have the Bears going 6-11, maybe even going 5-12. They have a tough schedule, and who knows how long Andy Dalton's going to start.
Start Fields.
Yeah.
Please.
And then I have the Vikings at the number 7 seed, 9-8. So that they have the same record as the Cardinals, but the reason I have the Vikings in at 7 is because I think they'll beat the Cardinals, and that tiebreaker is going to get them in at 7.
Okay.
And then the Packers are the 3 seed at 11-6. Yeah, I actually wanted to give the Packers a higher record, but they play the NFC West, and that's you could potentially maybe win only one of those games. Yeah. Potentially. I have them going 2-2. I have them beating the Cardinals and Seahawks, and then losing to Rams and Niners. So yeah, that's my NFC side is Bucks 1, Rams 2, Packers 3, Cowboys 4, 49ers 5, Seahawks 6, and Vikings 7. And then records and seats for the AFC. So AFC East, got the Jets at 4-13. That might even be generous, maybe, but also who knows. 4-13, and then besides the Jets, the division's solid. Patriots, I had them going 9-8. Dolphins snagging the 7th seed, 10-7, and then the Bills, the number 2 seed, 13-4. There's not many teams on the Bills schedule that can beat the Bills. There's not many teams. Um, yeah. And then I have the Dolphins Patriots because we mentioned that they're going to be fighting for the 7th seed. I have that coming down to the final week.
Okay.
They play each other in week 17.
That'll be the Sunday night game.
Yeah, that'll probably be the Sunday night game for that week. And then the Colts. Oh, sorry, the AFC South. The Colts. I have them going 10-7. The reason and they're going to miss the playoffs, so I have them tied record with the Dolphins. The reason I have the Colts missing is because I have the Dolphins beating the Colts, so that's the tiebreaker. Colts could potentially. I have them winning maybe less than 10, rather because I gave them every team a probable record. Fluctuation. Room for maybe 1 or 2 losses. The Colts, if anything, will lose more games, I think, than 10, than rather win more. This division sucks. Texans 0-17. Yes, I have the Texans 0-17.
They're bad.
They're the worst ran organization. They have the worst coach in the league. They have the worst roster in the league. It's just a recipe for just an atrocious team. They're going to be so bad. They will be lucky to win. Yeah, they could maybe win one. They'll be lucky to win
against the Jaguars.
Again, yeah, that's who they would be, is the Jags. That's it.
Speaking of Jags,
2-15. I have the Jags. Yeah, the Jags don't have an easy schedule.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't have an easy schedule, and they're the Jags.
Yeah.
I have them sweeping the Texans, and that's it. They can maybe win some more. I would, if I had to choose between them winning more or less, I could maybe see them winning 1-2 more games, but they have a tough schedule. They do. And then the West, the Chiefs 15-2. The Chiefs, the schedule's not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's not easy, but it's not that hard. Not many teams in that schedule that can beat the Chiefs. Funny enough, I have it as the Raiders and the Chargers, giving them their losses. Same as last year. Yeah, same as last year, actually.
Yeah, the Broncos don't beat the Chiefs anymore.
No.
And the Raiders and the Chargers are the ones that are incapable of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I didn't announce the seeding for the. Oh, I didn't even say the Titans record. Titans 11-6. They'll be the 4 seed. Yeah, Chiefs 15-2. They'll for sure have the number 1 seed. The Raiders 7-10. I think they have a more difficult schedule for their team. So 7-10. The Chargers is number 6 seed, 11-6. I love the Chargers. I definitely see them winning 11 games.
Yeah, I love them too. I
agree. Broncos 6-10. Could maybe win one more, maybe lose one more. 6-11. Broncos. The North. This one's a tough one for the division winners.
This is the hardest
one in the AFC side. Yeah. In terms of division winners, because the Browns and Ravens are so solid. So I'll start off.
They're literally almost the same team.
Yeah. So I have the Bengals going 4-13. Pretty reasonable, I'd say. They could maybe win more, maybe win less. Who knows? Steelers. I wanted to give them more wins. I really wanted to because of the Steelers, and Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and their defense is still solid.
Yeah.
And their offense isn't bad. It's okay, but it's not bad. I really wanted to give them more wins, but they have a tough schedule, so I gave them 6-10 or 6-11. Sorry, I don't like it. I want to give them more wins, but they could maybe win more games. But I have them going 6-11. And then the Browns and Ravens. Browns 11-6, Ravens 12-5. It's a tough choice to make, but yeah, that's my choice.
The only thing, whatever the second place team in the North is, they're gonna be the highest wild card.
Dude,
spot.
Also get this. See what's crazy? The Ravens and the Browns play each other twice. Well, actually, for one of the teams, I think it's one of the teams has. So okay. One of the teams has a bye week in between their second game. So there's been times where a team will play a single division opponent twice within 3 weeks. They'll play, for example, the Eagles will play Washington 1 week, play a different team, and then Washington the second week. That's an example. But one of those teams has a bye in the middle. So they actually for them, I can't remember whether it was the Browns or the Ravens. They play their opponent
Coming
twice
off
in a
the
row.
bye.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. So so they play. I think I'll just say this is Browns for simplicity's sake. So the Browns would play the Ravens. Like that would be their opponent 2 games in a row.
Has that ever happened?
No, I don't think. Uh, maybe.
Maybe it has happened.
Yeah, they have a bye week in between.
That's actually
Yeah,
whoever wins the second
That's-
matchup,
yeah.
whoever comes off the bye is definitely the favorite to win.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
But they're
man.
definitely going to split. They're
Yeah.
going to split.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game or a tough division to win between them two. I'm so excited to see that competition. But yeah, so just run down the seeding again real quick. Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Ravens 3, Titans 4, Browns 5, Chargers 6, and Dolphins 7. So let's ask you, what are your seeds?
Trying to go off yours, I like just in terms of the bracket. I'll start with the AFC. I think top of the AFC, and I can give some records for this. Top of the AFC is going to be the Chiefs. We all know that. I have them at 14-3.
It's fair.
Just to be fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Second seed, the Bills, probably 12 and
5. It would be 12 and 5.
Yeah. So 12 and 5. The next seed, that's the hardest one because for me,
it's either the Browns or the Browns or the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put the Browns at number 3, which I didn't.
And is that influenced by the J.K. Dobbins injury?
That is very influenced by the J.K.
That's
Dobbins
fair.
injury.
That's fair.
So, I think their running attack's not going to be as strong. So I'd probably put the Browns. I'd probably have them. What did I say for the Bills? 12 and 5.
Yeah.
I'd probably have them at 11 and 6. I think. Plus, the Browns have a really hard schedule. All the North teams have hard schedules. I would then 4th seed. I'd probably put. Even with Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson coming off of injury,
they're coming back faster.
I still have a lot of confidence in the Colts for some reason, and I like their defense a lot more than the Titans.
Oh, that was the reason why I have the Titans over them, is because I think the Colts for some reason have a more difficult schedule. I think
the Colts schedule wasn't easy when we did our entire schedule breakdown.
Yeah. That's why I had the Titans. That was honestly the main reason why I had the Titans over the Colts.
It's not because you're a fan?
Well, honestly, I think overall, I like the Titans offense more than the Colts offense, but for overall, I like the Colts more.
You know what? I'm going to go Titans just because I don't think the Colts receivers are as good as the Titans ones.
Yeah, and also T.Y. Hilton is out for the first, I think, 6-7 weeks.
And besides Michael Pittman,
Michael Pittman,
I don't know who the receivers are. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Titans at 4. I'm gonna go 11. What Avery has here, 11 and 6. That seems fair. 5 Ravens at 10 and 7. What's it called? 6. I think I'm gonna have to go. I want to say Chargers, but I don't want to say Chargers because I want to have faith in them, but not too much faith. You know what I mean? Because they are the Chargers.
That's true.
So I'm actually gonna go ahead and put the. Now I'm split again because I don't know if I think I'll probably go Patriots at 6 seed. I'd probably have them at 10 and.
You have the Patriots over the Dolphins.
Yes, Dolphins. I don't think Tua is gonna pop off like everyone says he is.
No, I don't think so either.
Mac Jones is gonna be. I have the opposite of what he has here. I think that last game will definitely. I think the Patriots will probably win that one. They'll be 10 and 7.
You know what's funny is the last time we did this, we were flipped. I had Patriots and you had Dolphins.
And now we're flipped again.
Yeah, and then we're flipped.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Patriots on the 6th seed.
Yeah.
And then
let me actually before you set your mind, Stephon Gilmore is gonna be out for like 6 weeks. 6-7 weeks. Just to put that one out there.
Damn, that's actually very, very important.
Yeah.
Because who else is the Patriots cornerback? Do they even have any? And Patrick Chung retired.
Yeah. They still have Devin McCourty. Yeah. They have one of the McCourty brothers still.
He's old, though.
Yeah. Calvin. Yeah.
God, Patriots, here's the thing. It's like the Dolphins' only thing is that Tua is so he's just underwhelming. Yeah. And the Patriots is just with all these roster moves. Oh man, that's actually hard.
But
Okay, you
okay,
know what? I'm gonna change it. 6 seed Chargers, 10-7. Um, yeah, that's more likely. And then actually the AFC, the 7 seed, I'm gonna go Patriots at 9 and I'm actually gonna think 1 win less. 9-8 that will get them. It will. I think they're gonna skirt right past the Steelers for the seventh
7.
seed. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Even with Stephon Gilmore out for a bit.
Yeah. And by the way, the Colts I think will be 8-9.
Hmm.
I think they're going to
They
be eight and
could. They
nine.
could be 8-9.
I see them losing. I see them.
They have a hard
I
schedule.
see a lot of their games of them like just. I see a lot of
their
games
first
getting
5
stolen by
weeks
them.
are rough.
Yeah, like this team could start 1-4 very easily.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of like even against their lower level opponents, I see a lot of those opponents stealing games from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna
Because there's
go.
upsets all the time.
Yeah,
Any given Sunday.
I'm gonna go 8-9. I'm gonna go 8-9.
8-9.
Raiders, God knows, I think they're gonna be mid. Broncos mid. Bengals will. We know what the bad teams are in the AFC. It's the Jets, the Jaguars, Texans, uh, the Broncos, and the Bengals.
Yeah. So for the Colts' first 5 games, just to point that out there, they host the Seahawks. Carson Wentz never beats Russell Wilson. Doesn't
Ever.
happen.
Has that never
happened.
happened?
It's
That's
never.
never happened. They
It,
fixed it like 5 times
in
already.
fact, one of the 3 teams we lost to, the Eagles, in our Super Bowl season was the Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll Seahawks. Yeah. Then the Colts play the Rams. That's tough.
That is
Then they played the Titans. I have that being the only game they win, and they could still easily lose that game. It's in Tennessee. And then the Dolphins in Miami, and then the Ravens in Baltimore. That's tough.
That's a tough schedule. They could be 2-3 or 1-5.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then they play the Texans, but then after that they play the Niners.
Yeah, it's not.
And then the Titans again.
Yeah, it's not safe for Indy this year, especially we got no T.Y. Hilton. You're just relying on Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
And maybe God knows, and Carson could easily get injured again. So
yeah, Colts have a rough schedule.
Gosh, the Colts were just.
If they had an easier schedule, I would say yes, absolutely. But no, their schedule's difficult, man.
Yeah.
And then after that stretch, they have the Bills later on. They have the Bucks later on. Like,
I mean, all the Colts really have is they have a top 3 O-line and a top 5 defense, but they don't have anything else other than that.
Yeah.
Like
their running game's good.
They have a good running game, top 15 maybe. But yeah, the Colts are gonna miss the playoffs in my opinion, guys. So let's just recap the AFC: 1 Chiefs, 2 Bills, 3 Browns, 4 Titans, 5 Ravens, 6 Chargers, and 7 Patriots by an eyebrow hair. And then so let's go to the NFC. This is look, I'm going off of these divisions right here. So I'm gonna start at the North with the Packers. They're not gonna be no, sorry, I'm doing it wrong. I gotta go seeding. Bucks at 1. I think they're gonna have the same record as the Chiefs, 14-3. So God, if they meet again, God knows who the home field advantage team will be. Or not home field, like who wears the away colors.
Yeah.
So I got Bucks probably at 1. I'm sticking by my Seahawks at 2. I'm sticking by that.
Bizarre.
And I think they're going to win 13 games, 13-4. We forget. The Seahawks went 12-4 last year and won the division. Like, I get that division is not as strong last year as it's going to be now.
They still
went 12-4. 12-4 is a very respectable record.
Yeah,
that's a good team.
Yeah, but now you have to play against the Matthew Stafford Rams versus the Jared Goff Rams. Much easier than the Matthew Stafford Rams.
Well, think about all the times the Seahawks have faced Matthew Stafford. Only Matthew Stafford has ever beaten the Seahawks. Really? I doubt that. I'm more times than I can remember.
Yeah,
Seahawks end up winning.
Yeah, you're probably right. But that's because it was the Lions.
Yeah, I'm aware. But anyway, I got the Seahawks at 13-4. I think everyone's underrating the Seahawks this year. Everybody. 3 seed got the Packers at 12-5. Packers are going to win a lot of games. I think let's not shy away from that. It's still A-Rod. It's still a great roster. They do have a
tough schedule, though.
It's a tough schedule, but I favor Packers in most of those games. And plus 5 losses that's a good decent amount. Yeah. That's 5 losses. 3rd seed. Okay, 4th seed. the worst division of football. I got the Cowboys as the only competent team, and they're not even that competent, but they're the only competent team. They have the only quarterback that I actually trust, and they have the best receiving core, best O line. The defense is always questionable, but besides the Washington football team, every other defense in this division is like eh. So I got Dallas probably, and the rest of the record, I'm gonna go 10-7 to be generous because I agree with more Avery where he has him at 9-8. I think 10-7. I'll just be generous. Let's just be optimistic about them. Fifth seed, it's gonna be an NFC West team. No surprise here. It's gonna be the Los Angeles Rams. I probably have them at 11 and what is that? 6. 11 and 6 is respectable. I do think they're gonna let some games slip out of their hands. A few of them.
I could see that.
Yeah. So they're the 5th seed. For the 6th seed, let's see who I like. 6th seed.
Probably gonna be the Niners, right?
I want to put the Niners, but I don't know, man. Good roster, but I think you're really overrating the Niners. 12-5 with Garoppolo, and who might not even be healthy.
They went 13-3 with Garoppolo,
and how long has he been on that team now? Like 4 years. Like, I think this is so very dependent on if he's healthy throughout the whole season. I'm gonna have the Niners. I'm gonna move them to 7, and I'm gonna be weird, and I'm gonna put the. I think I'm gonna put. Who do I want?
the Vikings.
Because here's the thing. There's not that many great NFC teams, but there's a lot of good NFC teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. If the Bears start Fields, Bears can make it, like, at least for the this is for 6 and 7 seed. The Cardinals, the Saints, the Panthers, the Bears, the Vikings, the Niners. These are all like literally teams that kind of are on the same spectrum.
Yeah.
They're not great or like world beaters, but they're not bad. This is the NFC West, like the last 3 seeds is hard to predict. Man.
So who's your 6 and 7?
That's such a hard question. I'm surprised you figured it out. Did this take you a while to figure this out? At least this part, or no?
Not really.
Really, you were set on this? So like you knew 3 teams were coming out of the West.
Well, yeah, it's because the Saints and the Panthers have they both have hard schedules, and the Cardinals are the worst team in the NFC West.
Okay.
It helps that I looked at the schedules.
Yeah, it does help. Okay, so with not much confidence in what I'm about to say, I'm going to do the recap the wild card. 5th seed, I got the Rams. 6th seed, I'll put Niners at the 6.
Okay. So
7th seed. The 7th seed, there's like 1,000 ifs that can happen with the 7th seed.
Yeah.
If Fields starts week 3, the Bears, I think, can make the 7th seed. If Kyler Murray somehow takes a massive leap with the roster, they could be 7th seed. If Jameis ends up breaking out with the Saints because they still have a great offense, they could be the 7th seed. There's like an insane amount of ifs. Which scenario am I most confident in? Probably Minnesota becoming the 7th seed.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm probably most confident in.
Yeah.
So to recap NFC, 1 Bucks, 2 Seahawks, which is my most controversial one. 3 Packers, and 4 Dallas, 5 Rams, 6 Niners, and 7 Minnesota. Although I'm not confident. I'm not 100% on Minnesota. But that wraps up my seeding.
Let's go through your playoffs now so that we have your seedings fresh in your brain, because I have mine written down.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Let's go NFC, because Bucks won. So you have Seahawks 2, right?
Seahawks at 2.
Vikings 7. All right, that's who they would play.
I got Seahawks obviously going to the division.
Okay. 3 is Green Bay, right? Yeah.
Green Bay.
And 6 is 49ers?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Who do you got
Green
there?
Bay.
Okay. And then it would be Rams and Cowboys for 4 and 5.
It's in Dallas, which I think is hard. So I'm actually gonna go Dallas, believe it or not.
That is bizarre.
It is
The
bizarre,
Rams roster is so significantly better
but I'm gonna go Dallas.
than
Sorry.
the Cowboys.
I think it's gonna be a shootout, but I'm gonna go.
You don't have a
Dallas.
single wild card team winning. There's always a wild card team that wins.
I know there's always a wild card team that wins, but I'm not confident in any of those wild card teams. That's why they're wild card
Bizarre.
teams. The NFC, like the only one that can really I'm really like
The Cowboys are a
is
for
the
sure
Cowboys
loss.
Rams. I don't think it's a for sure. You know what? Okay, just to appease you, sure the Rams will beat the Cowboys there. Because I think it can happen too. I'm not saying it's like 100%. Oh, the Cowboys are gonna win. No.
Okay.
So I'll just say the Rams just for argument's sake. But the Cowboys are a much more funner team to have in the playoffs. Whenever they're in the playoffs, it's just funner. Until they make it to that. Like Cowboys divisional games are like, ooh, what's gonna happen? Other than that, then it just becomes an uninteresting.
We know what's gonna happen.
They're gonna lose.
They lose. They're gonna
lose.
Anyway,
yeah, keep.
All right.
I'm not good
so
at
if
this
you have
math
the
thing.
Rams,
Yeah.
it would be Rams and Bucks, in the divisional round.
Really? Oh yeah, because I got yeah. I guess it's gonna be a great game, but the Bucks are probably gonna win.
All right. Yeah. Seahawks, Packers in Seattle.
Hey, there's ever since Fail Mary, it's always been who's ever the home team wins. So I'm going Seattle.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers plays his worst playoff game of his career. I'm predicting that too. Under 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
Whoa, 2 picks?
2 picks from this new Legion of Boom. And Jamal Adams is actually responsible for one of them, believe it or not.
All right.
We'll come back to that in 20 weeks.
Yeah. Dear Lord. So Bucks, Seahawks. Yeah, Bucks, Seahawks in Seattle. Or in Tampa Bay, sorry.
After that, I cannot wait for that game, even in the regular season, because I'm just so interested. Because Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, that's low-key a very underrated quarterback rivalry. Actually. Let's just be honest. So I probably think Russell Wilson leads him 2-1. Yeah, he does. He leads him 2-1 right now, all time. All right. Well, with that, I got the Bucks winning because it's in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Super Bowl. All right. So let's go to your AFC. You got Chiefs 1, so they got the bye. Bills 2.
Yeah.
You have Patriots 7.
Patriots is 7. Bills win in Buffalo.
All right.
Close game though. It's closer than a lot of people think.
I agree with that actually.
Because the defense is going to be stingy for Buffalo.
Yeah. So 3 is Browns.
Browns, yeah.
Yeah. Versus 6.
The Chargers.
Browns, Chargers.
I'm sticking with what I believed earlier. I think the Chargers are going to steal this game from the Browns, so I'm going to go Chargers.
Okay. And then you have Titans 4, Ravens 5.
Yeah, and rematch from last season. It's going to be another brutal game. But
I love Titans Ravens.
They're just awesome because they're just so much shit talking. This time I do think, because now with the loss of J.K. Dobbins, even though I wasn't even thinking about him when I was making all these Ravens predictions like a few podcasts ago, like thinking about it in hindsight, like it's like he's like when they're a running team, that's a big loss, especially if you're a running team. So I think the Titans are going to squeeze this one out against Baltimore.
Okay.
Which sucks because I love Lamar.
So then you would have Chargers, Chiefs, and Bills, Titans.
That's a pretty good divisional. That's a really cool divisional. I like that, right? Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, Titans, Bills. Yeah, just as simple as that.
Chiefs, Bills.
Come on, Chiefs.
Yeah. All right, so then Chiefs, Bucks, Super Bowl.
Chiefs, Bucks rematch. 2 very evenly matched teams. Mahomes gets his revenge. He leads the Buccaneers to a champion. Yeah, I said that wrong, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes leads the Chiefs over the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. Mahomes, he fixes a little part of his legacy because getting blown out by Brady and the Super Bowls
it wasn't even his fault though.
He could have made plays. Listen.
No, he did.
Yeah, but they didn't happen. So
not because of his fault. Not because of his fault.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't
Mahomes
hear it.
did everything he.
2 interceptions.
He did everything.
2 interceptions again, Mahomes. Mahomes has now what, 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions in Super Bowls? That's terrible. Let's just be honest. Maybe 2 touchdowns. But that's terrible.
Huh.
That's
I
terrible.
didn't think about that.
Yes. Okay. Anyway,
All right.
but this time around, he has a healthy O line. The Chiefs are just even listen. I don't think any team will go. I don't even think any team will even reach 15 wins this season. So I think both teams are capable of winning and losing this game. But I think Mahomes gets his revenge. Brady does not retire because Brady never retires. He's never gonna retire. He's the Dracula of the NFL. And so Mahomes gets his second ring in only his 4th year.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this guy's gonna be a legend.
5th year. 4th year starting.
17, 18, 19. 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, yeah, 5th year. He gets the second ring in 5 years.
Yeah. But his 4th year starting.
His 4th year starting. So basically two out of 4. Yeah, that sounds better, by the way. So yeah, Mahomes wins. It's gonna be unlike the other Super Bowl, which was a blowout. This is gonna be intense mid-scoring game, which means it'll probably be 38-34, 37.
That's mid-scoring?
High scoring is like
that's high scoring.
Okay, fine.
Anything above 30 is high scoring.
Okay, fine. It's gonna be a close game. What about if I said Chiefs win 34-30? Is that high scoring?
I'd say so. It's not like ridiculously high scoring.
The reason I say it's mid scoring because no team is gonna get past 40 points. Like the Eagles Patriots, that's a high scoring game because Eagles 41-35. Yeah. That's a high scoring game.
41-33.
I thought it was 35.
No, it's 33. It's my Eagles Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I remember.
You remember.
Yeah.
Although we're gonna see off camera who's actually right because I am very confident it was 30. It was 35. Are you serious? It was definitely 35.
I'll look it up right now. Right now.
I'm gonna be surprised if I'm actually wrong about this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but that's not it.
That's not it.
There we go. Just that one. We'll say the score.
Oh, fucking
Come on. Okay, he's right.
41-33.
I was 2 points off. God for. Anyway, that's a high-scoring game. So I think this is going to be a 34-30 or a 34-27, 34-28.
Yeah.
Like the Patriots Falcons, that's a mid-scoring game. It's a mid-scoring game.
Okay.
It's going to be intense. People are going to throw interceptions. People are going to catch miraculous touchdowns. It's going to go down as one of the best Super Bowls
ever.
Because Brady has like 3 of them. But, yeah, he's going to add another one to it. Mahomes, I don't think even if he beats Brady, all depends how he beats Brady. Because if he blows him out, it'll be like, yeah, he blew him out, but he also blew you out the year before. And I know O-line, yeah, whatever, but he blew him out. So it's going to be an interesting season, man. Yeah. It's going to be – I think this season's playoffs have the potential to be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. 2019 was terrible. Last year was decent. This year, I'm betting on him to be amazing. The 2017 playoffs are still goated, though. Those are the greatest playoffs ever, in my opinion. 2016 was the worst. Other than Packers-Cowboys, every game was either low-scoring or a blowout. No one wants that. We're not going to get it this year. Too many good offenses. So, yeah, that's my prediction for how the season will go down. Let's be honest. We're going to walk back some of these.
Because we're doing a bracket for also once the playoff teams get announced.
Yeah, so once they get announced, there might be a lot of changes. We don't know. Yeah. This is our predictions. I'm confident in mine, mostly.
And we'll hear mine.
Yeah.
All right, so on the AFC side, Chiefs taking the bye week at number 1. So I have Bills-Dolphins at number 2 and number 7. So Bills win that game. At number 3, I have Ravens playing the number 6 Chargers. I have the Ravens winning that game just because
really?
All the young AFC quarterbacks have, with the exception of, funny enough, Baker Mayfield, have all lost their first playoff game, and it would be Justin Herbert's first. So because of that, I have the Ravens winning. Honestly, that's like my biggest factor.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're saying Mayfield is better than Herbert? Think about it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, God, no. No.
All right, man.
Well, if with that logic, then you're saying Mayfield is better than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And we all know that's not true.
All right, what?
Yeah.
But you don't think Herbert could beat?
Oh, could he? Oh, yes, of course he could. Oh, that's a game. I'm
Wait,
like,
hold on.
that's a tough game
If
for me to call.
your only thing that you're going off by is that
Yeah.
the Maluk history is on him. I'm just talking about the game. Chargers against
It's a good
Baltimore
game.
and
Both teams could win. Both teams could win that
You
game.
got the Baltimore win. All right. Sure.
Both teams could win that game. I won't be if that game happens. I won't be surprised if the Chargers win. I'm not going to, but I'm just gonna base off a little history. So yeah, I have the Ravens advancing, and then the 4-5. Who was that? Browns and Titans. Browns.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were gonna go the other way.
No, Browns defense is better than the Titans. I think it comes down to the defense. Both those offenses are going to be electric.
Okay.
It's the defense at the end of the day. The Browns defense is definitely better defense than the Titans.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. So then it would be Chiefs Browns again. It'll also be Ravens Bills again. I had the same outcome. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, our luck with playoffs have been a little bit of boring or repetitive, so I unfortunately am going to take the pessimistic side in this. And yeah, from the divisional round on, it's the same exact thing.
So history is repeating itself.
Yeah, history is repeating itself. Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Browns, Chiefs win, Bills win, then Chiefs win again and go to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So on the NFC side, so Bucks take the bye week. They're number 1. So I have the Rams at 2, Vikings 7. Rams win that game. Pretty well. Actually, not too well. It's not a blowout, but maybe it could be like a 10-point game or a 14-point win.
Is the Vikings defense even good anymore? Like, how many losses?
I think it's going to be good. It's not going to be great like the 2017 season. It's not going to be like that, but it's going to be good.
All right. They were bad last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Rams win that game. My 3-7 or 3-6 is Packers and Seahawks. As you said earlier, this is a matter of between Aaron Rodgers and between Packers and Seahawks, Rodgers Wilson. It's always a matter of who's hosting. It's in Green Bay, so it'd be the Packers winning that one. And then the Niners and Cowboys. This is an easy Niners win for me. Easy Niners win.
Blowout win?
Potentially.
Even with Garoppolo and all that?
Yes. All they got to do is rely on the running game and their defense.
Yeah, I mean the running game, yeah. Because the Cowboys have had a terrible run defense for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. You don't need Garoppolo to shine. You don't need him.
That's true. Garoppolo didn't do anything in the 2019 playoffs. He didn't do anything.
It was Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, as a defense.
Yeah, you don't need Garoppolo to shine.
Garoppolo is like so insignificant then. Now that you really think about it, he's not significant that much.
Yeah, that's why I have the 49ers so high. Is because I think Garoppolo is what I see Garoppolo is I see him as a guy who's not gonna win you. I don't even see him as the guy that's gonna win you the game. I just see him as the guy who's not gonna mess up the game.
He's not gonna win or lose the game for you.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be there.
Yeah, kind of.
He's gonna keep things rolling as they should.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what Garoppolo is at this point.
Yeah. He's not gonna mess if you have the lead, Garoppolo's not gonna ruin it. But
unless it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah, unless it's a Super Bowl. But that's Mahomes.
Yeah. Going
off that playoffs.
Yeah.
So then after that it would be the Bucks and the Niners and the Rams Packers.
Bucks and Niners, that's a great matchup.
I like that matchup. I have the Bucks winning. It's gonna be I love the NFC playoffs way more than the AFC side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bucks Niners, love that matchup. It's gonna be a good one. Bucks, I think are barely gonna squeeze it out.
I hope Garoppolo plays because that'd be a great story.
Yeah, that actually would. Yeah. And then Rams Packers, also fantastic matchup. Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers again in the playoffs, but I think that things are gonna be different because Matthew Stafford is gonna. I think he's gonna get his first playoff win.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, actually, that would be his second if they beat the Vikings already.
In Green Bay.
No, this is in LA.
Oh yeah, you have the Rams as the second
as the
seed.
second.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind then.
If this was in Green Bay, I actually might put the
Okay,
Packers in winning.
that's fair.
But it's in LA.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, new big stadium for all the LA Rams fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Rams in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rams Bucks, NFC Championship. Love this matchup. Absolutely do. Bucks win it though. And then
Blowout or close game?
close game. Close
Okay.
game.
3 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 or less.
7 or less. All right.
Yeah. And then in the Super Bowl, you can't. I don't think you can bet against Brady, because see, here's the thing: if Brady wins the Super, because like these last few years, he has set just crazy records, right?
Yeah.
With the Patriots, with that 6 Super Bowl win, tied with the Steelers for he helps the Patriots tie the Steelers. I mean, it was him and Belichick. The 6 Patriots rings are Brady Belichick. Brady Belichick in his in that season tied the Steelers with most Super Bowl wins in NFL history. And then with the Bucks, gets the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history by any player ever. Has more rings than any team ever. And then, I mean, he's already most wins by a player a long time ago. But yeah, that's the bigger thing. He has more rings than any single team.
Yeah.
In NFL history, and he's a player. Like coaches, it's more likely for a coach to have that happen.
Yeah.
But no, he's a player, and he did that. Bizarre. If he wins this game, right? Oh, and also he did it in his first season with no OTAs, no training camp. They were 7-5, and he managed to take them all the way through and win.
Yeah.
Brady defies odds.
He does. He really
and also,
does.
not only that, the first wild card team to win a Super Bowl since the Packers.
Damn, 2010?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. First team in 10 years to win a Super Bowl as a wild card team. Defies odds.
He really does.
He does.
He finds
and
a
if
way.
he wins this season, right? He will have 8 rings, so he will tie with Belichick for most Super Bowl rings. Belichick has rings as an assistant coach, I think, with the Giants.
Yeah.
Maybe they're both with the Giants. Or
I know.
Yeah, I know
the
he
Browns didn't win.
Yeah, so both with the Giants. That's how Belichick has 2 other rings besides the Patriots. That's funny that it's the Giants of all the teams because the 2.
Always something.
Yeah.
It's always the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, he'll tie Belichick, and there's also another coach that has 8 wins. I can't remember his name, but there was like a story about it the other day. So yeah, Belichick. Brady will tie Belichick and the other coach for most Super Bowl rings ever, just straight ever, and be the first quarterback to, not just first quarterback, the first team since his own 03-04 Patriots to win back-to-back Super Bowls. This is the longest drought we've ever had between a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. The previous longest drought between was like 7 years. And Brady, if anybody's going to do it, if anybody of all the people that's going to defy odds, it's Brady. I don't like betting against Brady anymore. Just seeing what he's been doing the last few years. My only exception and where I was right was the Titans-Patriots playoff game. And is Brady's last playoff game ever. Last game as a Patriot ever. Only time I was ever right betting against Brady that I can recall. You just don't bet against Brady. You just don't. So I like the Bucks to win the Super Bowl. And get the Bucks, the terrible
Here's the thing. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I think this could easily happen. I think the Chiefs could also easily win too.
True. So, that's true. Like on the flip side, if anybody is going to prevent Brady from doing this, it's Mahomes.
Yeah. All I know is these 2 teams are gonna definitely face off against each other.
I think you're right about the Super Bowl being much closer. I do agree with that. No matter who wins, I think the Super Bowl will be closer.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a blowout again.
Yeah.
Brady doesn't get blown out either, ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mahomes will get blown out this time because he actually has an offensive line.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be. Here's the thing: it's like we know we have a great feeling of what's gonna happen at the end of the season. but like everything before, we'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Like we're expecting the Chiefs and Bucks to get to the Super Bowl no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter
No
what.
matter what.
Everything else that happens before that, God knows what will happen.
Yeah.
We don't know who's going to be MVP. We don't know who's going to have the most, who's going to lead the league in whatever stats.
Yeah.
We don't know any. We don't know the records. We don't know.
know.
We don't know anything.
Yeah.
We have no expectation for anything. So we're primed for another fun ass season, man.
I know.
As a Charger and Bears fan, I'm super.
Do you want to run through real quick our season or our week 1 predictions? Because man, it's that time. Do you want to do that?
Basically?
Yeah. I don't want to go into explanations because there's already been a long podcast.
Yeah, I think we did that literally the one of the podcasts, but things have changed. So
yeah, so let's just run through who our week 1 winners are gonna be.
Okay.
Thursday night, Bucks Cowboys. Who do you got? Bucks. Yep. All right. Sunday, 10 a.m. Eagles Falcons.
Falcons.
I hate to say it, but I think the Falcons might win. It's a game that the Eagles definitely should win, but
kind of an evenly matched.
It is an evenly matched game.
The Falcons' defense is god awful.
Yeah.
And they lost Julio too. So.
Yeah, both teams could win this, but I see the Eagles as upsetting me as per usual. So Falcons. It's in Atlanta. Jaguars Texans. I don't care about this game at all. But Jags.
Trevor Lawrence gets his first career win.
Yeah. Chargers football team.
Chargers.
Doesn't matter where it's at. It's in Washington. I don't care. It's Chargers. Seahawks Colts.
Hawks.
I agree. Jets Panthers in Carolina.
Darnold gets revenge.
Panthers. Vikings Bengals.
Irrelevant game. Burrow actually steals one from Minnesota.
Ooh, bold. Yeah. I don't think so. I have the Vikings win, but I could see that as an upset. Yeah. Cardinals Titans. I have this as an upset game.
You think Cardinals are on? Okay, that's fair.
These are the Titans that I like.
They're kind of evenly matched.
Yeah. 49ers Lions. Blowout.
34-0.
Could be. Yeah. Niners. Steelers Bills in Buffalo. Bills. Yeah. If this was last year or 2 years ago, it'd be closer, but no.
Yeah.
No. The gap between those teams is widening.
It really has. It really has. It's crazy.
Yeah. Bills win this one. Browns Chiefs Kansas City. Love this game.
Chiefs.
But
I wouldn't. It would be awesome if it was an upset.
It would be.
It would be awesome.
It would be. Yeah. If the Browns are one of the very few teams I could have potentially beating the Chiefs. Yeah. Packers Saints. This is actually going to be in Jacksonville because of Hurricane Ida. The New Orleans wants to. The reason they're not hosting any. So the Saints aren't going to host any of their home games in September in New Orleans. It's because of Hurricane Ida. They want to preserve the power and the water in the city for the city, because the stadium, it's the Caesar Superdome. It's ginormous, That would draw a lot of power and water. So all the Saints home games in September are not in New Orleans. Yeah. So this game's gonna be in Jacksonville, oddly enough.
So a neutral site. Even if it was in New Orleans, I'd still have Green Bay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I think it's actually gonna be a very high scoring contest. I can see that.
Broncos Giants New York.
Giants.
Yeah.
Giants by a very small margin, just because Teddy Bridgewater, he's gonna be decent, but I like the Giants offense a little more.
I think it's gonna be low scoring. Those those defenses are raw.
It's gonna be like 20-14 or something.
Yeah.
Or 17-10.
Yeah. Dolphins Patriots New England.
This is honestly gonna be a big bragging rights game for both of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But in New England, you said?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go New England.
I'm gonna go New England too.
Yeah.
Bears Rams Sunday night.
Andy Dalton starting. Rams is gonna win. Any game that Dalton's starting, even if it's against like the Eagles, I probably would have the other team winning.
Yeah.
That's how much I don't like Andy Dalton. So let's just go Rams.
Yeah. Ravens Raiders in Las Vegas for the Monday night game.
Lamar shows out. Every time Lamar plays Monday night, he fucking goes off.
He does.
So I'm going Lamar.
Yeah, me too.
The Ravens, sorry.
Yeah. All right. So that was a long episode 15.
Very long.
But man, our next episode will be breaking down the week 1 games and predicting records not records.
Then the week 2 games.
The week 2 games.
That's so. If you guys want more of us, you're gonna get plenty of more of us.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, we have been a little bit inconsistent, but trust me, once the season starts you're gonna hear us. You're gonna
Yeah,
hear
and
us.
we're glad you were able to, get an episode for the both of us at the same time.
Yes.
Because after this is gonna be like, because I think
It's gonna be back to Zoom calls.
yeah, back to Zoom calls after this episode. But
Yeah,
hey,
it's
this was
nice.
a great episode. We gave you some great content.
It's nice to be back in San Diego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me and my boy Avery, we're gonna go get some Don Romans right now. Best fucking Mexican place in San Diego. If you're ever in San Diego, go to Don Roman's, give them your
In
business
Chula Vista.
in Chula Vista. But even San Diego, just if you let's say you're in La Jolla, just drive to Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Best surf and turf fries in the country.
True.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, with that concludes episode 15 of Thunderbird Podcast. We'll see you after week 1.
Exactly. Take care, guys.